Welcome to the Sleazy Podcast, the podcast about anything and everything, but mostly TV and movies. And now it's time to get sleazy.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 201 of the Sleazy Podcast, the world-renowned Sleazy Podcast. Can't forget that, you know. So, I'm your host, Sleazy, obviously, and joining me tonight, as most of the time, I would say, Mr. PBS.
Howdy, howdy.
He was a little fashionably late, but he's here. He's ready. He's perusing his phone for whatever info he's getting ready to drop on us.
Dropping some knowledge.
Dropping that PBS knowledge on everybody. And then, of course, the one, the only, Robzilla.
Hello.
What's up?
No, living the dream.
Living the dream? You had an exciting day?
No. It was not exciting.
Routine surgery for your pops turns into something else, and
Trying to get all that tension.
yeah.
That pity party. You gotta stop that breathing.
Yeah.
Shit.
He was like, I need somebody to feel sorry for me this weekend.
Yeah.
That picture he shared, like, father really does look like son in that. Like, I zoomed right in on his face. I'm like, you could put Rob up in that hospital bed. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what some like woman says, like, oh my God, is that your father? I'm like, yeah. She's like, I can tell. I was like, thank you.
Don't ask stupid questions, lady. That's what I would have said.
Yeah. I mean, come on now. Let me look at us.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's no denying each other.
Yeah, there's no denying about that.
So I've got a package here for PBS. It's well late. I feel ashamed that it took me this long, and I'm actually got to turn right around and do this again for fantasy football now that that's over with. So,
oh yeah, okay.
Congratulations to Chris Long. He won our fantasy football. It's like his 5th or 6th time winning it. No competition in our league for him.
No.
What is it?
Precise with that cutting knife.
He's patiently sifting through the box.
Drum roll, please.
Uh-oh. What is this? Now you got to open it and read it. He's breaking the box open now, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a cause of slight trepidation because we know the kinds of trophies that this gang gives to people. Especially hot sauce isn't here, so we don't have to worry about it too much. But
Right.
Well, as long as you don't finish last place in Hot Sauce's Fantasy League, I think you're good. Like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right.
It's fantastic.
see what we got here. Sleazy Podcast 2024 horror trivia champion, Mr. PBS 4-time champ.
4-time champ, ladies and gentlemen. Here, we'll get a close-up of that. Oh, man. That's
It's got some weight to it.
Yeah.
a little bit. I expected it to be a little heavier, but there it is right there. I don't know if anybody can see that, but
That's beautiful.
it's like a Hulk, you know?
Hulk werewolf kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. There you go, sir.
Very nice.
The 4-time champ.
4-time
We
champ.
we gotta get somebody to take you down next year again.
I think, if we get if we ever get Monster Popcorn's buzzer figured out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
his buzzer situation probably cost him a little bit. But to be fair to Robzilla, he was on a roll this year.
Yeah. And Rob would have won it had I not kept play going. If we would have just went by the 4 rounds, and look at him, he's upset.
Yeah.
Seeing you with that trophy, he's like, that should be on my
That should be
mantle.
mine. It belongs to me.
That should be on my mantle, guys. I was screwed. Screwed, I tell you, screwed.
There's an episode of King of the Hill where Hank's got his trophy shelf, and Bobby's like, "How come you never made one for me?" And like, we did, Bobby, and it's just got like a bunch of houseplants on it because Bobby never made one. That's what Robzilla's got at home. Like, oh, that plant shelf?
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy it, sir.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that'll be a cool little thing. You can put it next to your Burger King crowns.
Right.
Do you still have those?
Probably got them either in the car or somewhere in the house, maybe.
Yeah. Well, now you can like display them like, I'm a winner.
I gotta wear the crowns like, people when they get the championship belts and they got like 4 of them, you got like one over the shoulder and everything.
Yeah.
Each shoulder and then both around the waist.
You have to be like Jerry the King Lawler, right?
It's like those boxers too when they have like one belt, like every weight class, super featherweight.
We'll have to find you like a grifter to kind of like walk around with you and hold your crowns,
Chuckles.
Yeah, Chuckles would do
I'll
it.
hold them for you, buddy.
You see him coming out. We should do that next year.
I got you, buddy.
Make our own little like laser light show. Get the LEDs.
Get the fog machine.
We could buy some laser machines. I think they're probably like $20 or $40, something like that.
Right.
Have a smoke machine.
Get some fog going. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Be fantastic.
All right, so here is the rundown for episode 201. We're going to talk about David Lynch, the director, just passed away. What was it, yesterday or the day before?
I believe it was just yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Then we've got some crazy news. Then we're going to do Zilla's Tubi Pick of the Week. And then we're going to do PBS Media. So it's not your typical PBS Media, PBS Physical Media. Mm-hmm. And then Rob and I are going to talk about Wolfman that we saw.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Then PBS and I will close the show out with Nosferatu.
I really wish I could roll my R's to do a Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I've never been able to roll my R's. I don't know what it is. I just can't do it.
Probably after watching that, you really want to learn it.
Bill Skarsgård deserves some type of award for that performance.
He's fantastic what he does.
Unrecognizable.
Yeah.
It's essentially unrecognizable. Let's see here. Do we want to do crazy news first, or we want to do David Lynch first? I have to find something here.
Whatever. What's
David Lynch. Okay.
Did you see that in the planning group that I posted it in there?
Oh yeah.
I'm just checking because it
showed up as
pending for some reason.
It showed up as spam.
Really?
Yeah. I was like looking at it and I was like, what's going on here?
That's why I posted it in there twice, just because it was pending the first time. I'm like, wait a minute, nothing's ever pended before.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's not like we have an immense amount of traffic that would filter spam to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Zuck.
He really is terrible, dude. And I'm sure we can fit the TikTok ban in after this with, can we just put that in crazy news?
Yeah, we just fit in with the news.
Yeah. Recent activity. Let's go. There we go. All right. Okay, David Lynch, visionary director of Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet, dies at 78. This is from Variety.com, for those of you that aren't watching on YouTube. Director-writer David Lynch, who radicalized American film with a dark, surrealistic, artistic vision in films like Blue Velvet and Mulholland Drive and network television with Twin Peaks, has died. He was 78. Lynch revealed in 2024 that he had been diagnosed with emphysema after a lifetime of smoking. See what that smoking gets you? And would likely not be able to leave his house to direct any longer. His family announced his death in a Facebook post, writing, "There's a big hole in the world now that he's no longer with us. But, as he would say, keep your eye on the donut and not on the hole." That's a good little phrase to use.
David Lynch.
What's the famous rant he had where he goes off about where they're like, should we cut this scene down? And
somebody, he's behind the monitor with his headphones on, And somebody said something like, should we try cutting the scene down a little bit? And he just starts going like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you people? Always complaining about how long a scene is. The scene is as long as it fucking needs to be. I don't do a great Lynch, but that's kind of close.
The Twin Peaks TV show and films such as Blue Velvet, Lost Highway, and Mulholland Drive melded elements of horror, film noir, and the whodunit, and classical European surrealism. Lynch wove tales not unlike those of his Spanish predecessor, Luis Buñuel, which proceeded with their own impenetrable logic. A 4-time Oscar nominee, Lynch received an honorary Oscar for Lifetime Achievement in 2020. After years spent as a painter and a maker of short animated and live action films, Lynch burst onto the scene with his 1977 feature debut, Eraserhead, a horrific black-humored work that became a disturbing fixture on the midnight movie circuit. His outre and uncompromising style quickly won the attention of the Hollywood and international movie-making establishment. He was hired by Mel Brooks' production company to write and direct The Elephant Man, a deeply affecting drama about a horrifically deformed sideshow freak in Victorian England who became a national celebrity. I don't think I've ever seen his version of The Elephant Man.
I've got it on Blu-ray, but
I just remember the old black and white one.
That is his.
That's his?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why was I thinking that was made in like the 60s? Or
It's not. It's made in like didn't it say like 80 whatever?
I don't know.
It's got to be early 80s.
Oh, anyways, freak Victorian England who became a national celebrity. The feature captured 8 Academy Award nominations, including Lynch's first for Best Director. He found less success with his 1984 adaptation of Frank Herbert's sprawling science fiction novel Dune. The production, made on a budget of $40 million during a artist's 3-year shoot, was a colossal box office flop. However, Lynch rebounded from the disaster with 2 films that defined his mature style: Blue Velvet, 1986, and frightening hell ride through the psychosexual underbelly of a small American town, and the sexed-up violent road movie Wild at Heart, 1990, which was honored with the Cannes Film Festival Palme d'Or. Is that how you say that?
Yep, Palme d'Or.
Oh, okay, Palme d'Or. In 1990, he revolutionized American episodic TV with Twin Peaks. A lot of people are Twin Peaks fans. I've never watched any of it.
You should check it out. It's probably, I think it's streaming, maybe on the Paramount Plus or something.
It's on one of them. I see it all the time. A series he created with writer Mark Frost, with action springing from investigation of a high school girl's mysterious murder in a Washington lumber mill town. The weekly ABC show plumbed disquieting theretofore taboo subject matter and made the inexplicable a fixture of modern narrative television. A major hit in its first season, Twin Peaks lost its momentum and ultimately its audience in year 2. However, it spawned a feature-length prequel, 1992's over-the-top Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me. 25 years later, the ongoing affection of a loyal cult of viewers sparked a limited-run 3rd season for Showtime that picked up where the 2nd season left off. Later in his career, in such features as Lost Highway 1997, Mulholland Drive, which won him the Best Director Award at Cannes 2001, and Inland Empire 2006, Lynch flexed a superheated style that pivoted on plots emphasizing double personalities, unexplained transformations, and shocking acts of violence. The quiet yet quirky The Straight Story, 1999, harkened back to the more reserved emotional pull of The Elephant Man. The director himself was consistently reticent about sorting the meaning of his work for his viewers. In the book-length collection of interviews, Lynch on Lynch, 2005, he addressed the enigmatic core of his work with writer Chris Rodley. Well, Lynch said, imagine if you did find a book of riddles and you could start unraveling them, but they were really complicated. Mysteries would become apparent and thrill you. We all find this book of riddles and it's just what's going on, and you can figure them out. The problem is you figure them out inside yourself, and even if you told somebody, they wouldn't believe you or understand it in the same way you do. In addition to his honorary Oscar, Lynch's one-of-a-kind career was acknowledged by a special award shared with his frequent star Laura Dern at a 2007 Independent Spirit Awards and a Golden Lion at the 2006 Venice Film Festival. He was born January 20th, 1946, Missoula, Montana. His father was a research scientist for the Department of Agriculture, and his peripatetic family lived in the plains states of Pacific Northwest and Southeast before settling in Alexandria, Virginia, where Lynch attended high school. An indifferent student, Lynch focused on painting, a one-year stay at a school of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, and a board trip to Europe with his friend Jack Fisk, later a noted Hollywood production designer, where succeeded by his enrollment at Pennsylvania's Academy of Fine Arts 1965. Boy, this guy just lived an incredible life, didn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
and it's funny. Like, I'm not that big of a David Lynch fan. I mean, I've always heard of him, and I've seen him yelling at people and shit. But man, sounds like he just lived an incredible life and had a lot of accomplishments.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to read the rest of the article. It gets more in depth from there and kind of goes movie by movie.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Definitely something people should seek out to read on their own.
And then I'm 1982 as well. 1980. What? The Elephant Man was 1980.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But yeah,
for some reason I was thinking that was done a long time ago. Yeah,
it definitely comes across that way.
I haven't seen it since high school, so
I remember seeing clips of it, Eraserhead, but I don't think I've watched it through. But
I think
seen
Criterion put it out, The Elephant Man now.
Elephant Man is a great movie. I'll say that much. Was it Anthony Hopkins was in that, or?
Yeah, he's the doctor, and then John Hurt is the Elephant Man. Yeah, I'm not like the biggest David Lynch fan. A lot of his stuff is kind of mysterious to me. Like, you're watching, like, okay. So he's one of those people that I appreciate maybe more than I like, even though I do own a good chunk of his movies. And it's just weird to think of, like, if you ever watch something like Eraserhead, like comedian Mel Brooks saw that and thought, like, this is the guy I want to direct The Elephant Man. And Mel Brooks even kept his own name off of it, except for like one credit or something, because he didn't want people to like see his name and think it was a comedy or something. And at the same time, you think that's the same guy who almost directed Star Wars Return of the Jedi. If you ever heard that story, he's told it where he meets up with George Lucas, and he goes up to wherever George Lucas is at, and he goes to the hotel, and he goes out to eat with George Lucas, and he says, like, this whole time he's just kind of getting a headache and feeling upset about the whole thing. And George takes him out to this restaurant to eat, and it's some place that like only serves salads.
Oh, that's the worst.
And he's like, I don't dislike salads or anything, but it's only salad. And then he's like, he shows me what a Wookiee is, and I don't know what a Wookiee is. And he says it's like as soon as he gets back home, like he goes to a payphone and calls his agent, just says, I cannot do this. Yeah. This is not for me.
Here's that video of him yelling. Yeah, let's see if I can put this.
If you want to cut the time down,
what is this with everybody?
No.
What is it? Really? Why? I'm serious. Fucking A, man. It drives me nuts. Who gives a fucking shit how long a scene is?
Gives a fucking shit.
Who gives a fucking shit?
Who gives a fucking shit?
I mean, that was pretty much spot on when you did your version of that.
Fucking A, Rob.
Fucking A, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, what a life, though. That's a guy that just lived it all, it sounds like.
There's nothing better than seeing directors have rants or actors, which is hilarious. Just like that. There's nothing better than that.
It really is. It's hilarious to see people go off. It's kind of now I know how you guys felt the one time I went off on Jason.
Yeah. Fucking A, man.
Fucking A, man. Did you not hear me when I said we were taking a break?
Fucking A, man.
But I'll run through his filmography here real quick. Eraserhead was like his first like really artsy project, and I think that's one of the movies like everybody should watch at least once, just to really get the flavor of it.
And that's what, 77, right?
Yeah, 77. And Criterion put that one out. Elephant Man, like I said, I've never seen that one all the way through, but that's a good one. I actually kind of like his version of Dune more than a lot of people. It had budget problems, and then he wanted to do 2 movies. Dino De Laurentiis wanted to do 1 movie.
Is that the one with Patrick Stewart in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that one.
Sting's in it.
Not since I was a little kid, and I don't remember much of it.
Yeah, they really, whatever you think about it, they really butcher like the second half of the book.
Yeah.
And so that really hurts the movie. Even if you didn't like it already, you definitely don't like it after that. I think maybe Blue Velvet might be the one for people to start at. And that's the one where like Kyle MacLachlan finds a severed ear in his yard.
Oh, Jesus.
And he kind of goes through the town and a whole bunch of weird stuff happens.
Does he like carry the ear through the town? Like, is this yours?
He does carry it with him for a while. Yeah.
Does he have it in a sandwich bag or something?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't remember what he carries it around in. I think he takes it to the police.
it's got to be like a handkerchief or something.
Right.
you
And
know?
I don't think I've ever watched that. I've heard of it, and then also Mulholland Drive, but I don't think I've ever
I've heard of
watched them.
Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched them, though.
He did Wild at Heart in 1990. That's with Nick Cage and Laura Dern, I think. I've never seen that one either. I own it, but I haven't watched it yet.
All right.
He did Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, which was the prequel movie that he did after the Twin Peaks series. Lost Highway, that's another one that's kind of out there for me. It's like Bill Pullman starts getting messages from this dude, and it's just a weird one. It's got
Yeah,
Patricia
that
Arquette in it.
sounds weird.
Yeah. The Straight Story is one I've never seen, but it's like maybe one of his most straightforward ones. It's actually a Walt Disney movie. And it's just about, says it's based on the true story of Alvin Straight's 1994 journey across Iowa and Wisconsin on a lawnmower. It's sort of the one that when you tell people, they're like, he made that one. And then Mulholland Drive was in 2001. That's one I need to rewatch because it's sort of both accessible and kind of out there, which, is David Lynch. I was listening to the Blank Check podcast. They just had like a 3-hour episode on that one movie. So now that they've kind of explained some of it, I need to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
And then Twin Peaks might be a good place for a lot of people to start. It's only 2 seasons. The first season's only like 8 episodes or something. And that's really like season 1 is the best season.
I remember seeing like an episode of that probably when I was a kid, and I was like, this is some weird shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Season 2 gets a little meandering, and they tell you the premise is who killed Laura Palmer, and sort of the not the joke or whatever, but the idea was that they were never going to tell you who did it, so they were just going to keep the series going, and sort of the idea was that it's not really important who killed her in a way. But the studio kind of made him do it in the second season, and it kind of went downhill after that.
yeah.
But that's definitely a decent place to start, especially that first season. And I've never watched The Return that they did in 2017, which was like the limited series.
Okay.
That a lot of people really like that one. I've got it on Blu-ray at home. That might be my next project after The Flash. But yeah, like I said, I'm not the biggest Lynch fan or anything like that, but he was kind of important, especially to a lot of other artistic people.
All right. So it is now time for crazy news. Well, this didn't load to where I wanted it to go.
Fucking A, man.
Fucking A, man. Why can't this shit ever fucking work? All right, there we go. All right, Pataskala woman mauled and killed by neighbor's pigs in horrible situation. This was from January 6, 2025 of the Columbus Dispatch. A Pataskala woman was mauled and killed by her neighbor's pigs on Christmas Day, according to the city's police chief. Jesus. That's on Christmas Day. Rebecca Westergaard, 75, sorry I butchered your name, of Pataskala died after being attacked by 2 pigs that were roaming near her Mink Street home. Pataskala Police Chief Bruce Brooks told the Columbus Dispatch on Monday. Westergaard's niece called Pataskala police at 2:47 p.m. for a welfare check after no one could reach Westergaard. She was supposed to leave her home in the 4000 block of Mink Street, where she lived alone, at 10:30 a.m. to go to her niece's home in Norton, Ohio, just outside of Akron, according to the police's incident report. Westergaard was found on her property near the house, Brooks said. Brooks called the case a horrible, horrible situation. Well, what else can you call it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not every day somebody gets eaten by a pig. But could not share much information as the case is still under investigation, adding that the department will share more once Westergaard's full autopsy results are completed in 4 to 6 weeks. What's the autopsy going to reveal? How long they ate her?
I mean, okay.
It is what it is at this point. Brooks told the dispatch on Monday the pigs had partially eaten Westergaard, but Licking County's deputy coroner, Dr. C. Jeff Lee, said on Wednesday that he could not describe it that way, saying the pigs mauled Westergaard. So they didn't totally eat her. They just kind of had their way with her, it sounds like. Unfortunate. The 2 pigs were owned by a neighbor. Brooks said he was unsure what will happen to the pigs or whether their owner will be charged criminally. The department, he said, is in touch with the Lincoln County Prosecutor's Office over this case. As of now, the pig's owner has not been charged with a crime, Brooks said, and he did not release the owner's identity. Mary Height, a city council member and owner of Mink Street Market, a small market that sells farm-raised meat located about a quarter mile from Westergaard's home at 3740 Mink Street, told the dispatch Monday that the pigs involved in the incident were not hogs from her farm. Brooks said while Ohio law has a clear process for when dogs attack and kill someone, there aren't any laws about livestock that officers or prosecutors have found. If it was a pit bull or a Rottweiler, or name any of the other 15 dogs that are deemed semi-aggressive, then we would know the answer right away, he said. But being farm animals, it's just not something we've ever dealt with here. I would think that the owner would be found liable for not keeping these things in.
I mean, you have to treat it the same way. If
they've got to be caged, yeah. I mean, you can't just let them roam over to the neighbor's house and,
There is
as they can say, eat them.
Yeah.
There's a bit of an update here. Says the Licking County from yesterday, or not yesterday, from Wednesday, January 15th, from Fox 28, says the Licking County Coroner's Office definitively says the death of a woman found on her front porch on Christmas Day was caused by at least one pig mauling her, leading to injuries to her legs, which caused her to bleed to death. Initial reports said the pigs attacked the woman. Then police walked that statement back, saying the pigs may have caused injuries to the woman. Dr. Jeff Lee, deputy coroner, said the pigs definitely caused the death of Rebecca Westergaard, 75.
Yeah. What else mauled her and caused her to bleed out?
What, did she have like a heart attack and then they came
These
up?
fucking idiots.
Lee
I wish
said-
they could just say what it is. You know what I mean? Just call it for what it is.
Well, we don't want to say yet.
Lee said the pigs were pot-bellied pigs believed to have been kept as pets by a neighbor. He said the pigs had a history of getting out of the neighbor's yard. An agricultural educator from the Ohio State University's Extension Agency in Fayette County said it's not like pigs to attack a person. Pigs are not naturally like that, said Ken Ford. But
Yeah.
pigs called inquisitive and said pigs, but Ford called pigs inquisitive and said pigs who are regularly around humans are expecting food from them. Their reaction to humans are the humans feed them. And so when a pig would see human, that's an odd statement.
Yeah.
Associating that with more likely than food. Police have not filed any charges at this point. It appears the pigs remain with their owner.
That just seems
Pretty messed up.
really odd and messed up at the same time. Like they mentioned there, like pigs depend on people for food. So when they see them, they think, I'm going to get food.
Yeah.
So maybe she was like, and they were like, oh, I got you.
You ain't got no food. You're food now, bitch.
Right. Right. I mean, that's terrible. Number one, it's terrible. Number two, it's terrible that it happened on Christmas and these people didn't get to see their loved one. But it definitely some crazy news. You don't hear about pigs eating people every day. So
No, not at all.
It's like something from a movie.
yeah. I mean, you always hear about like back in the day, they would feed people pigs after they killed them to get rid of the evidence, but never like pigs going up and attacking people. Okay, moving along to our next story here. Another one of these stories. It all looks so real. Man loses life savings in romance scam. This is from January 9th. It was updated January 10th. This is from 10 TV too. The last one was from Dispatch. Same thing, right? It all looks so real. Man loses life savings in romance scam. The 79-year-old man says it all began when he received a text from Lisa Love. He ended up transferring over $125,000 to a fraudulent account in Vietnam. Insane. Rob, do you have anything to do with this?
No.
Okay, I'm just checking.
No, I do not.
Okay, it began in July of last year.
That's why Rob's really not reading that book. He's out there catfishing people.
Yeah. I can't read this page. I'm busy trying to get this Mark to give me some money.
It's tough out here on 2025.
I need my Netflix subscription. Can you give Daddy some money?
Secretly, I need to pay for my insulin, so I need you to cough up that money.
If I don't have my insulin, I can't talk to you. Give Daddy his sugar.
Subscribe to my page too, would you?
Just sign your 401k over to me. I'll get it back to you as soon as my account's unlocked. It began in July of last year when he received a random text from someone named Lisa Love. We started talking through text and we had a few phone calls. Oh, geez. So this person went all out. The man who asked to be referred to as Mark to protect his identity said to protect himself from humiliation. We'll just call it that.
Hi, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Mark. This is Lisa Love.
The room. Hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Okay, to protect his identity, he said, I just recently got a divorce. I wonder why. It was, and I was lonely. She fit right into my attitude.
Got a divorce at 79?
Right. Bro, at 79, just let
Hang
me.
it up.
Yeah, I'm not interested in finding any company at that. I mean, if I'm going to find company, I'm going to, just pay for it and then that be it.
Right.
I'm not going to keep giving people money.
Right.
She fit right into my attitude that was happening at the point. Really?
Really, Mark?
He said they even talked over video calls a few times, leading him to trust her. That's kind of like the thing there,
Yeah.
Video calls kind of give you that last distinctive trust before meeting somebody. Lisa claimed her aunt was a financial analyst and suggested that Mark invest in gold through a specific website. He eventually transferred most of his life savings, money from a home sale after his divorce, to what police said was a fraudulent company. Mark said the funds were ultimately sent to an account in Vietnam. After the transfers were complete, Lisa disappeared. Of course, Lisa disappeared.
Yeah. I mean, by the name of Lisa Love, we're like, yeah, okay.
Do you think she was like, ciao, Mark?
Ciao, Mark.
It turned out to be my life savings pretty much, he said. I actually had thoughts of suicide. I would too.
I mean, just live it out, man. You're 70.
I wouldn't be talking to the fucking news. This would be something I'd be taking to my grave.
Yeah. And he was a Mark, literally.
Yeah. Mark is now working with the Toledo Police Department, who he says have also contacted the FBI to find the culprit. Though authorities admit recovering the funds is unlikely. No shit.
Yeah.
I'd be buying a fucking ticket to Vietnam. I'd be doing some
Who's
fucking
got my
John
money?
Wick shit.
I might as well live it up here now.
$125,000 is
That gets you far in Vietnam.
that's your life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If it's within hours of the money being transferred, it's possible to get it back, said Wood County Sheriff Mark Wayashin.
That's a name for sure right there.
Yeah. It is Mark You go more than hours, it's over. Despite the loss, Mark hopes sharing his story will prevent others from falling victim. Yeah, don't send fucking money to people you don't know. Like, if you haven't met someone even if I met you in person, I'm not sending anything to some investment. You know what I'm going to invest in? The real criminals here in the United States.
Right.
At least you get a chance to get your money back from them.
Yeah.
If something goes through.
Man.
I don't want this to happen to someone else, he said. It was so easy. Yeah, if you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have happened to me, but it did. What should
I don't know.
Advises never to send money to people you've never met. No shit, Sherlock. Thanks for the advice there. The National 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides free and confidential support for anyone in distress and resources for anyone who may need help. By dialing 988, you can be connected with a local crisis center 24/7 for help. You can also chat online at 988lifeline.org. I think I might do that. Mm-hmm. Like, I have to deal with these two pieces of shit. One can't read a fucking page from a book he's had for several months now. The other can't show up on time to save his fucking life.
Sounds like you got a tough life there,
I'm
sir.
going nuts.
Personally, the person on the other end might be like, I've heard your podcast, just do it.
Pull the trigger.
You really must be a sad individual to keep doing this every other week.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to deal with my podcast. Just end it.
Just end it.
There's nothing left for you.
End it. It's over.
But you just don't understand.
I produce valuable content on the internet.
I don't have time to read a page out of one book. Not 10 minutes of reading a day. I can't do
I was slaving away on the couch for 15 hours watching John Wick movies and Tubi.
I watched 15 movies in one day. Do you know how hard that is?
It's extremely difficult.
Yeah. So Hot Sauce sends me a message before he sends it to the group. We got to tell everybody this. Hot Sauce sends me a message and he's like, this motherfucker.
I know it's me when it starts with that.
Well, and normally it's me sending Hot Sauce a message and I'm like, these motherfuckers. And instead it's this motherfucker. And the screenshots start popping up of Robzilla's letterboxed activity. And he's like, this motherfucker logged 15 movies in one day. 15 movies. And I'm not even kidding you, he went through and got the run times of all these movies and added up your total hour of watch time. And he was like, this motherfucker. I forget how many
like
hours.
20 something or like that.
It was like 18, I think, or something like that. And I was like, he had to have started at like 4 a.m.
That's usually I start the movie like 4:30.
Oh my God, Rob, go back to bed.
I can't. I'm awake.
You need something to help you sleep or something.
I'm like laying there and the dog's on me. We're just watching shitty movies.
If I could fit in 3 movies in a day anymore, I'd be amazed.
Right?
Well, most
it's
of the time,
uncomfortable for me to sit through like multiple movies anymore.
well, most of the time, like I do forget to log it, and I log in at the same time. But there's times I do watch 1 or 2 movies.
I don't believe that you forgot to log these. I think these were all in one sitting.
No, I forgot to log in the John Wicks because Tracy never watched them, so we watched them.
Now you notice he didn't say that at all the other night.
Yeah.
He didn't say that at all. Like, well, I forgot to log the John Wicks. They were from another day, so kind of cut me some slack.
No. He means he forgot to log them the first time. Like John Wick Chapter 4 alone is like a 3-hour movie. It would take me like 5 hours to watch that. And I'd have to stop and take a nap in the middle or something.
Yeah, this is insane. What is your letterbox name, by the way?
It should be Robzilla.
Robzilla 1985.
I was wondering, like, I was looking at it, like, was that the snow day? And maybe he sat in front of the TV for 15 hours and made Tracy go shovel the driveway or something.
Do you shovel your driveway, Rob?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, man, I shoveled a little pathway around my truck and I was done.
I shoveled it. I had to break up because it was like ice underneath. I was like fucking chipping at that bastard.
Okay, here's his activity.
Should be able to go to diary.
Where's... There we go, diary. That's much better.
Yeah, and it'll give you the breakdown by days there.
Look at this. The 11th was just, oh my God, look at this. The Watchers, he gave it 2.5 stars. John Wick, 4 stars. John Wick 2, Chapter 4 stars. John Wick Chapter 3, 4 stars. John Wick Chapter 4, 4 stars. Jerry Springer Fights Camera Action, 3 stars.
I thought that was like a series, too. I didn't realize that.
That's only 2 episodes. That's all it is.
It's only 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So, like, 2.5, 3 hours? Fall is way better than 3 stars, dude.
It's anxiety. That's why I didn't like it.
Dude, that is a 4.5 star movie all the way. That movie fucked me up, dude.
Yeah.
I had to look away at parts because I was getting like nauseous and Quiet Place Day 1, 4 stars. Sisu, 3 stars. And when we went to the movies last night to see Wolfman, he was so proud that he had a John Wick marathon.
It was nice.
We got in line to get our drinks and stuff, and he was like, we had a John Wick marathon the other day. The Mean One. And then he caps it off with these 2 movies a couple days later, The Mean One. What possessed you to watch that out of season?
Well, I couldn't remember what streaming it was, and I forgot it was on Star, so I just went and watched it.
So how many movies here on the 11th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 movies in one day. That's a lot of fucking movies, dude. Like, do you ever think about like getting up?
I'm already just answering you no.
You don't. So you don't think about doing something productive in the house or reading a page from that book that I loaned you?
I'm doing movies for the podcast.
Did you buy a diaper for that day or?
Yeah.
No, I hit pause. I'm not that kind of a savage. My God.
I mean,
I have a little bit of respect for myself. I'm not going to soil myself. My God.
What'd you do? Take like a sponge bath when you got up that day? Or like,
oh,
no time to jump in the shower. I've got to get these 8 movies in.
Just spray Lysol on me. Fuck it.
Giving himself the sponge bath on the couch. Jesus, Rob, we got company coming. Come on.
I just imagine it being like one of those 500-pound life people. He's just sitting there.
Just throw on the baby powder.
The DoorDash directions say, please come in the house and drop it off on the couch.
The front door is unlocked.
Like the whale.
Or the guy knocks on the door and he's like, do you want me to bring it in? Are you okay? Just take the 20 on the porch and leave.
Please put it near my mouth.
That movie, The Whale, was depressing, dude.
I
waited so long to watch that, and yeah, it's depressing.
Yeah. I heard it's good, but depressing.
It's good. It really is good, but man, it's just, that's a normal life for the certain people. Yeah, and man, it's so sad.
Brendan Fraser won an award for that, right? Because I remember.
Yeah, he won an Oscar for it.
I think he was deserving for that.
The movie itself is not that great of a movie. It's more the performance of Brendan Fraser.
Okay.
But yeah, it's tough. Like, there's a part where he gets like really upset about something, and his first thought is to open the refrigerator and grab like the leftover pizza, and he's like just dumping fucking ranch on it and just shoving whatever he can in his mouth, and it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
And oh man, that's just so sad that people deal with that.
That's how they handle it. Yeah.
Can't get help to fix that, Okay, so moving along, we're going to do Zilla. What's your Tubi pick?
Well, it's going to be 2. So
this is like kind of our new segment. Every episode, we're going to make Rob give us a Tubi pick for shitty movie lovers.
So the first one was me and you watched the first episode. So I'm going to start watching it. It's a series. It's called Danger 5.
I wonder if Danger 5 is on here. It wouldn't be on Letterboxd because
it might. Sometimes series are on there. So I haven't checked for Letterboxd though.
No, I don't see it on here.
But I would check that out. It's wild. It's a very weird show, but it has its moments.
Yeah, you made me watch the first episode, and this is a show you want to watch while you're high.
Yeah, it's like 5 stars if you're high watching this. So I would recommend that. It's unique. It does have its moments.
And we'll just put this up here. Danger 5 is an Australian action surreal comedy television series which premiered on SBS 1 on the 27th February 2012. The men's adventure magazine-inspired series was created by Dario Russo and David Ashby. The first series is set in a bizarre, campy 1960s interpretation of World War II and follows a group of 5 international spies on a mission to kill Adolf Hitler and thwart his plans of world domination. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
There's a dog that, talks German.
Oh, man.
It's crazy.
Sexy bitch.
That's all we need to know.
I feel like I've seen part of that at some point.
You have, because Rob shared TikToks of it.
Yeah. Little clips of it. And then I recommend, this is a found footage film called Exists. So it's basically, synopsis is 5 friends travel to a remote cabin in the woods.
Fuck yourself.
Is that Tropic Thunder? Tom Cruise?
I popped TikTok up.
Convenient.
It's when you watch that movie, it's so weird. It's like that's Tom fucking Cruise. It's one of his best performances.
Go fuck yourself.
We don't negotiate with terrorists. So 5 friends go to a remote cabin in the woods and plan to record their entire weekend. Their party plans are quickly ruined when they realize the property is in the middle of Bigfoot's territory.
Okay,
he is not happy.
Real quick, what is this again?
Exists.
Exist?
Yeah, EXISTS. So this is probably one of the better found footage movies.
You say that about every found footage movie, Rob.
Not every found footage movie. So this one I did like. I've watched this one a couple times actually. So I gave this one I think a 3.
Watched it a couple of times. And he gave it a 3.
I gave it a 3. I liked it.
This might be like my new favorite segment. This is just brilliant. Oh man. Okay, so
I think you have to like look up a trailer or something. We have to at least like watch a trailer or something.
do they still have the trailers on here on Letterboxd?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
But the thing of it is too, they show Bigfoot, but it's
silence, dog.
Yeah.
When was the last time you felt the tender touch of a woman?
Brian just needs to be touched by another human being.
Oh, leave Brian's sad sex life alone.
Brian alone! You ladies gonna get down next? Whoa!
I don't think
We are officially in un-GPS territory. Look. Rolling deep in the woods.
and the music after that.
Cabin out here. Yeah, dude.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Trust me, guys. Looks a lot better than the daylight.
Does it?
You gotta be kidding me, man.
Ew!
And I bought one of these bad boys. We're gonna have the best YouTube video ever.
Looks like a little love walk going on. I shouldn't be shooting this.
What the hell is that? There's something over there.
We ran across that ridge right there.
Hello?
Let's go back.
I think we did something to it.
So no one knows we're here.
No.
What are you doing?
I got some GoPros set up. If anything moves up in here, Brian Tober's gonna catch it.
What is that?
Get the lights! Get the lights! Get the lights!
There's no credible documented cases of a Sasquatch attack.
Shut up about a Sasquatch.
It's okay. There's nothing out here.
Oh my.
Bob! It's Matt! We're at the cabin!
Pushing us towards the edge.
No!
I'm in. It looks good.
They do it really well with Bigfoot. It's not. It's just that they don't really focus on it. It's just glimpse and him running and stuff like that. So it's a little bit better that way.
By the way, this movie has an average ranking of 2.6. So it's decent.
Yep.
It's an average movie.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
So that's it.
Yeah, those are my 2 recommended picks right as of now.
Okay. All right. So now we're just going to move straight into PBS Media. And it's not regular media. It's physical media.
That's right. I wanted to get back. We haven't done a physical media segment in a while.
Thank God he doesn't have a whole fucking bag this time.
Well,
I like that. I like that, though.
I wanted to try to make it sort of a topical segment in a way. So I figured we'd start this one out with David Lynch died the other day, but it was also John Carpenter's birthday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just decided to bring some of my Carpenter Blu-rays with me to talk about them real quick. I believe I've got like every one of his movies on Blu-ray.
I'm sorry, but Rob just coming through with the bangers tonight.
Now you're trying to fucking insult me.
No, you're bringing some good content to the show. About fucking time, bro.
Can you? We need like a found footage style documentary about Robzilla, but it's just like, is that him? Is that him? It's like, no, you're moving too fast. He's right there on the couch.
If anybody is listening or watching, is it possible if you might have any connections to like a documentary crew that can just follow Robzilla around for the day? Like, I want to see.
They won't have to follow him very far.
Yeah, I know. Like, they'll just have to literally post up in the kitchen on the bar there, and
that's it.
You could probably just set up a couple cameras in the house, like Paranormal Activity style.
Yeah.
Just get one that like oscillates back a little bit.
Can we have the live feed to your cameras in the house?
Sure, why not? That's all I need for you to hack into my shit.
I just want to see you watching TV the whole day.
It's just Rob on the couch.
Then the dog and the dog attacking me.
How's the new pup doing, by the way?
This bitch has no neck. She's so fat now. She's got no neck.
Stop feeding it chicken nuggets.
Don't blame the dog.
Hey, she gets rewarded for, not fucking up, so.
Here's a 6-piece chicken nuggets. No. Thanks for not shitting in the house.
Trust me, Tracy gave her a piece of crust from the pizza. That's like, what the fuck you giving her? I was like, don't start that.
Yeah, she's too young for that.
She chomped on that shit, so she's fine.
What did you do with the dog for that 15 hours you were watching movies?
She's either asleep or I was taking care of her while watching the movie.
I mean, you couldn't take it for a walk while you were watching a movie, could you?
No, I did take her for a walk the other day.
Do you think Rob is taking anything for a walk?
Oh, I took her for a walk the other day.
What, to the back door?
She does all. No, I walked her to the end of the street and back down the other way. So
to the end of the street. What is that?
Well,
like
she's
2
fully,
minutes.
Well, she's fully vaccinated now, so we just want to make sure so we can take her out.
Yeah.
So
what is that?
Well, that's why we never really took her out.
We got way off topic.
Yeah. Okay.
Back to your physical media segment here.
Yeah. So I just brought a handful of these with me that I thought we'd just talk about real quick. So I had to bring this one because this is a Sleazy Podcast favorite.
Yes,
it is.
John Carpenter's Vampires. You got the nice slipcover there.
Oh yeah, that is nice.
That is pristine.
That is nice.
That's one thing I like about the Scream Factories is that they give you the reversible covers usually.
Oh, that's nice.
On the disc. That's nice.
I'm gonna put it. I used to make me so upset when people would throw away their covers.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is wrong with you? It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't. Some like if you go in some groups, some people are kind of insufferable about their slipcovers. Like, if I don't get a slipcover, I'm not buying it or whatever. And I get it. Like if I go to buy something, and I can get the slipcover for like an extra couple bucks, I'll probably just get the slipcover. But some people in some of the groups, they'll literally like set them in a trash can and burn them. and people are like, no.
I love slipcovers, man.
Yeah, I like slipcovers, especially if you're going to do something like this where you can reverse the inner cover, because that's like takes me back to the VHS store.
Oh yeah,
that was the VHS cover that I see every time.
Whenever I see vampires, I just think of old HBO, that's where I first saw it. I watched it like 10 times in a weekend.
Well, I remember going to like the Dollar Theater and watching it, and I just loved it.
It was great.
I loved it.
It was great.
You got everybody's favorite James Woods, who's your mileage may vary on Mr. Woods these days.
My heart goes out to James Woods right now, but
the guy is probably a grade A piece of crap, but he did lose his house.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
And
we don't condone.
He's got a family. I think he has grandkids, and it's terrible for everybody out there.
We don't wish that upon anybody.
No.
Don't, losing your home and your memories and all that. And
if only that goddamn Gavin Newsom would let the reserves flow into Los Angeles.
Let's just move on, because I don't want to get pissed off and make it something else.
I did hear Rand Paul during his. He was the chairman or whatever of one of the committees doing nominations today, and he said that there's fires next to the beaches. Why can't they just use the ocean water? And I'm like, Rand, you don't want to use salt water like inland, like if it gets in your house, and it really screws things up. I mean, obviously, if your house is going to burn down, it's not that big of a deal. But
Bill Burr had the best on was it Jimmy Kimmel or whatever?
Oh my God,
he was like, these morons.
They act like they're fire experts.
The wind's 100 knots. Yeah, let's go out to the ocean.
Right. It's all so easy from behind a keyboard.
Yeah. When you're sitting in your underwear, like you figured it out.
So you got James Wood, you got Daniel Baldwin, one of the Baldwin brothers, Cheryl Lee, who is in David Lynch's Twin Peaks. So we got a Lynch connection there. Ancient vampire wants to be a day walker, goes looking for a cross. James Woods and his vampire hunter's got to stop him. Maybe my last really favorite kind of Carpenter movie from 1990, whatever.
It's like 97?
98.
98.
So, like I say, people's opinions vary on that one. I know we kind of like it.
I just,
it's a fantastic
There's nothing
movie.
better than James Woods talking shit to vampires when he kills them. I mean, there's nothing better than that.
Doesn't he have a homophobic slur in that movie?
Yeah.
It's not for the younger generation. We'll just say that.
It's, I
like how they named, like, they call the vampires goons. I like that too. Like, they, mix it up a little bit.
I think, didn't he call like a vampire a fag or something like that?
He says, he's talking about the vampire, and he says they're not all fags in shirts, like when you think of like a vampire in like one of those kind of cheesy 60s movies.
The flamboyant vampires.
Well, he's like, crosses and shit don't work. He's
the
like
Casanova vampires.
Yeah.
He's like, the only thing that kills them is sunlight and driving a stake through their fucking heart. It's like, okay, all right, James.
All right, next up.
So I brought another one here, The Fog.
Oh yeah,
got a decent cover
Is
there.
it The
but
Fog?
Of course
No, it's not.
You got Jamie Lee Curtis there on the bottom, holding her door shut. The Fog is one that's like, it's not one of my favorite Carpenters, but it's one of the ones that every time I watch it, it kind of grows on me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I really, if I could ask John Carpenter a question, I'd like to know if The Fog was ever meant to be in black and white. Because sometimes I watch it, and it's got some very black and white aesthetics that I really like.
Yeah, that's a good question to ask.
So that's...
maybe he should release a black and white version for like an anniversary or something. Right. That'd be fucking on.
So you got Adrienne Barbeau, she's the Stevie Wayne or whatever who's out on the lighthouse. Jamie Lee Curtis passing through town, hanging out with, what's his name? Tom Atkins from Halloween 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you've got all the crazy, ghosts coming to Antonio Bay to avenge themselves. Like I said, this isn't like a favorite Carpenter for me, but every year I watch it around. I think the movie takes place in April because it's the anniversary of the town, and I kind of revisit it every year, and it grows on me just a little bit. But it's always it's one of those Carpenters that doesn't fully do it for me, but I do like it quite a bit.
Moving on.
Here we go. We got Big Trouble in Little China.
Favorite.
Phenomenal movie.
Love that original cover there.
That's awesome.
Jack Burton.
Yeah, that's.
I just saw some clips being shared of.
I sent one too.
Yeah.
And this may be like my most rewatched Carpenter anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's just one of those movies I can put on and have a good time with it. I can either have it on in the background or I can just be watching the whole thing.
Egg Chan.
This is a nice 2-disc one. So it's got a ton of cool special features on it. And like I say, it's just a fun one. I think it was it's one of those ones that was kind of like a flop at the time, but it's kind of cult classic status has grown. And like I say, it's just one I love checking out again. Kurt Russell, Jack Burton, James Hong, Lopan, the Storms. I love.
It's a great movie.
Good stuff. And it's we think of the 80s as like a culturally insensitive time. Sometimes even in the 90s, and there's nothing too silly about it. Like it's a funny movie, but it treats its subject matter seriously.
Yeah,
there's no like Asian stereotypes really or anything like that.
I'm surprised someone hasn't gone through it with a fine-tooth comb and found something to complain about though.
Give it time.
Yeah,
there's always that one prick.
So but it's because John Carpenter really liked those kung fu movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So he wasn't trying to send them up. He was trying to do something funny but serious at the same time. And I really like that one. And then of course I had to bring my favorite with me, another Sleazy Podcast favorite, John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness.
I've been toying around with contemplating rewatching that here lately.
It's streaming on Prime now, I think.
Yes.
It's got like one commercial break in it or something. And I've actually got this one in 4K as well. It's one that I wish had some more special features. They do have a short.
It's such a deep movie too.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt you.
Yeah. No, you're good. It's got like I think it does have the audio commentary with Carpenter, which I haven't listened to, but I should. I thought it had a short interview too. And it's another one of those movies I wish somebody would ask him more about it. I think it's one of those ones that he's a little upset about. It's another one that didn't quite do as well as he thought, or he didn't get it quite as well as he thought he should have got it. But it's just,
I think it's his best movie.
It's different. It's a science fiction horror movie in a way that we don't see too many of.
Well, I think that one's grown too. I think more people realize how great that movie is.
It dances around with the Bible and faith. And it's a damn good movie.
And it's got Victor Wong from Big Trouble, and also
Dr. Loomis,
Donald Pleasance.
Yep, and then Dennis Dunn, who's also in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep. Not like a really stacked cast, but they're all just kind of good, doing their own thing in it. And like I said, this is outside of Big Trouble in Little China. This is maybe the Carpenter I come back to the most, and it's just, I don't know, it just does something for me.
How would you feel about a modern day remake of Prince of Darkness if it were in the right hands?
I'd be curious. I wish there was somebody doing more kind of science fiction horror in this sort of old school style. And I'd be curious to see if somebody could do it. I always wished there's a dream sequence that happens.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a message from the future coming back. And when I watched this for the first time, like late night on TV back in the 90s, I was always kind of hoping it would get a sequel in 1999 with the thing coming out of the church. And I just never got it. Yeah. And I was just really kind of upset. I'm like, John, could do that for me, John. So I'd be curious for some sort of sequel or remake on that one. I don't think it'll be as good or anything like that, but I'd be curious.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talks for Big Trouble in Little China. Like that was going around for a while.
Yeah, they've been threading that one forever.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't just leave that.
I don't want to see a remake of that. That's just too classic.
Yeah,
I think was that The Rock, or was he going to do that, or was he going to do?
Well, it was
Escape
The Rock.
From New York?
Yeah. Well,
no,
yeah,
I'm tired of The Rock.
Yeah, it's just
like he's a nice guy and all, but I'm just tired of him.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing him make shitty movies.
Yeah. It's the same role he plays. It's just, who cares?
Yeah, that souped up like military style guy.
Yeah,
like,
even when he's not supposed to be, he is.
Yeah.
And then I brought one last one here.
Okay.
Had to bring The Thing.
Oh yeah.
This is
I've been wanting to watch that now that it's like there's snow outside every day.
Yeah. This is a steelbook. The kind of cool thing about this one is they released it just a regular, I think, Blu-ray DVD combo, and then later Arrow, which is another company, they did a different transfer. So they got both transfers on here. Some people weren't a big fan of the original Scream Factory transfers, because there's some I can't remember which one. One tends more toward blue, so the snow looks blue, and then one tends more toward white, where the snow looks white. And it just has to do, so they got like the 2016 2K scan, and they got a 2017 4K scan, both on Blu-ray. And I think the 4K scan was done by Dean Cundy, who is John Carpenter's kind of director, photographer for a couple of those movies. And just kind of depends. I don't know. I've watched them both. I'm glad. That's the reason I bought the steelbook, was to have both of them. And I don't know. I guess I tend to watch the 2017 one just because Cundy was involved. But they're both good. Lots of good special features. I mean, it's a thing. It's not even a cult classic anymore. It's just a classic.
Yeah.
So you should definitely check out all those. I think most of these are still in print. I think the steelbook's probably the one that's not in print anymore.
That's a beautiful steelbook.
Yeah,
too.
I'm not a big fan of steelbooks myself, but I'll get them if
if it was something you really
from
want.
time to time. And like I said, that's why I got this one particularly. I think I've still got my other copy as well, and I've got the 4K copy that Amazon puts on sale 5 times a year for like $10 just because it has the digital.
I need to get that the next time it's on sale.
Yeah, so it's good. So I can pop it in the Blu-ray player, or I can just hit the digital when I feel like it. But definitely some good stuff. Scream Factory, like I said, they got like pretty much every Carpenter now is out from their label except for a couple of them. And, I'm a big Carpenter fan, so I got to have them all.
I was watching a TikTok, and I kind of agree with this guy, but he said like at that time, like director wise, John Carpenter had like probably one of the best runs. I mean, because you had Assault on Precinct 13, then Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble, Prince of Darkness, and They Live. Like consistent. I mean, that's like some of the best run of a director can have. I mean,
it's like 10 years of bangers right there.
Yeah.
Banger after banger.
I need to revisit Starman because I actually think Starman might be like maybe his best film. Straight
it's
ahead
been
best film.
forever since I've seen Starman.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like 5-6 years old.
Yeah.
So I need to
Jeff
revisit
Bridges
it
too, because I remember bits and pieces, but I couldn't tell you about the movie.
I put that one off for a long time just because it's got more like the love story kind of angle in a way, and so I just didn't watch it for a long time. When I finally got around to watching it, I'm like, and I'd seen pieces of it, like you said, when I was younger as well. And when I finally got around to watching, I'm like, oh, it's pretty good because it's definitely not as genre-y as a lot of his films, but you can still see John Carpenter in it.
Yeah.
His certain elements that,
Okay. Hey, maybe we'll do that. We'll have to do like a rewatch of that and talk about it. Have a Starman segment.
Yeah. Just like we had Argento, we should do like John Carpenter and a bunch of other directors as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check out your Carpenter wherever you can.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Good
outro.
It's like the second time I've done that.
Bad Moon.
Yeah. We are going to move along now, and Rob and I went and saw Wolfman, the latest attempt at rebooting Wolfman, I guess you could say, from Universal.
Blumhouse.
Yeah, Blumhouse's version of Wolfman. And as you can see there, I gave it 2 stars.
Ouch.
Yes. And I'm trying to find the right words to express myself here.
I'll help you. It's dog shit.
It's a January release.
Yes.
And typically January releases aren't expected
There's
to do
a
very
reason why it's releasing in January. Right. But this stars Julia Garner from Ozark. And if you know
Ruth.
Yeah, Ruth.
Is that she's the one who does the TikTok sound, right? Like what's it like if you want to stop me, you're gonna have to kill me, or
you're gonna have to fucking kill me. Yeah.
That's classic.
And there's a point in this movie towards the end where I'm like, I'm just waiting for the Ruth accent to come out and her to scream something at this werewolf, and it just didn't happen.
See, now if it would have happened, we probably would have higher up in the ratings there.
Listen, this movie has a pacing problem. The writing is just kind of all over the place. The characters are so idiotic. I mean, this is from like start to finish. And the more I think about this movie, the more insulted I am that they put it out the way they did. Like, did they not show this to people that are like fans of the genre of werewolves or anything? And
probably not.
Get input like, oh man, you should really go back and reshoot half this movie. But I mean, here's the synopsis for it. With his marriage framed, Blake persuades his wife Charlotte to take a break from the city and visit his remote childhood home in rural Oregon. As they arrive in the farmhouse in the dead of night, they're attacked by an unseen animal and barricade themselves inside the home as the creature prowls the perimeter. But as the night stretches on, Blake begins to behave strangely, transforming into something unrecognizable. Yeah, it was unrecognizable. Now, let me say this. I really appreciated some of the things they tried in this movie. Like, the movie is very much the perspective of somebody changing into a werewolf and what they're going through and all that. But, like, the start of the movie, it starts out with this kid living with his survivalist dad, who's like some former military person. And, right at 6 o'clock, you hear bells going off and, 0600, get up.
Make your bed.
Then they're going out to hunt, and then they run into something terrifying. And then it fast forwards to, this guy growing up in a marriage, and, he's not having the best marriage, and he finds out that his dad's been missing for 45 days or something like that.
Yeah.
So they give him the deed to the house and the keys. And, you know, he talks his wife in it, you know, to taking the kid out there and staying. I think the plan was to move out there and kind of take a break away from the city.
Yeah, like for like the summer, basically.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, they don't even make it to the house. Like they wreck the U-Haul before they get there. And, you know, from there, it's a survivalist movie, so to speak. And it was just, there was no point for the wife to be in this. It like such a waste of Julia Garner's talent, I thought.
Well, they make a attempt to have that connection, but it's kind of like,
They do a terrible job. They do a terrible job. There's no character development. There's no room for these people to, you know, for you to get attached to them. And like, I appreciated the look they did with the werewolf, where they didn't make, you know, it this big furry thing. It was like a man that just kind of transformed into a wolf a little bit.
Face of the wolf, I think they call it.
Yeah, because it starts out with like some, you know, they tell you about a man got infected and they called him, you know, whatever. There's a
some
nickname.
kind of weird name.
There's some tribe nickname for it or something like that. But yeah, it's just the movie has a pacing problem. It has a writing problem. And I was so disappointed because the guy that directed this, I've enjoyed his movies. He did the, what was it, The Invisible Man?
Yeah.
And then he did Upgrade. We went and saw Upgrade. That was a great movie.
Still is one of the best ones. Yeah.
But this movie, like, you don't even get to see like any nice werewolf kills in it, and it's like it tries to be something else, but a werewolf movie at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't want it to be a werewolf movie, but they wanted to, you know, test the waters a little bit and have it be something different.
It's like, well, we'll just make it say, you know, call it Wolfman, but try to be something, like you said, something different.
But it's so idiotic, you know, like these people, they get trapped in the house. Not once do they look for a weapon. Not once do they look for a weapon. She opens a drawer and finds a butcher knife.
But you have to realize this is a survivalist ex-military. Like, you can't tell me there's no fucking weapons in this house.
They're in a guy's house that's off the grid. The only power he has is from a generator.
That's like from 1919.
There's bars all over the windows, so nobody can get in through the windows or the front doors. They have like, you know, the steel storm doors, you know, that you can lock. But there's not one fucking gun in the house. There's not one bow and
arrow. No bow and arrow.
There's not a bow gun. And this is a guy that hunts for his food. It's a guy that hunts for his food, but there's no weapons in the house. Not even a hunting knife, just a butcher knife.
Yeah, just not even like a double barrel as like a self-defense.
And they see what they're up against, and they really think a knife is going to handle it. But it's just, and the characters' motivations are just terrible. And, you know, there's scenes where this mom, you know, if you have a kid, a little kid, this kid's probably what, like 8?
10. Yeah.
8 to 10. If you've got a kid and you see your husband is like very, very ill, would you let your kid go up? Like, I mean, we're talking about losing your teeth, and he's got this huge like gore on his arm, you know, that's just not healing. It's getting worse. Would you let your kid go up and touch him? And I'd be like, sweetie, you need to stay in the other room.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's just, I understand they play into like the horror movie role but it's just like, you don't have to make him that stupid. Like, he can still play into it, but you know.
Now they did some really cool things where you got to see what he was going through the transformation, as far as like what he was seeing and what he's hearing. Like, there's a part where he hears something like banging in the house, and he's like going upstairs looking for it. Like, what the fuck is this sound? Mm-hmm. And he opens a closet and it's a spider. I mean, that stuff is really cool, but I mean, this is just somewhere in between a made for Netflix movie to borderline
Tubi
theater release. I mean, the production is really good in it. The cinematography is really good in it.
Of course.
There's some really creepy scenes where they're in the dark, and you know, you got to pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some tense scenes in it. But man, it just was a massive disappointment. Like, there just was no scare to it, and there was no, like, I saw somebody leave a review like, "Oh, the gore was so great." Like, what gore did you see? I didn't see any.
There's some, but they kind of like reined it back.
It's minimalistic gore. Like, I mean, we're talking about him bleeding under a bandage, and you don't see him, like, you see certain things happen, and then you see, you know, just a little shade of it off to the side on the camera angles and stuff. But it's not. It's honestly probably one of the, dare I say, for the money in the production, it's probably one of the worst werewolf movies, I think.
Ouch.
And it's
there are cheaper productions that are better than this,
such as Werewolves.
Yeah,
I mean, that's more entertaining at least.
yeah. Werewolves is light years ahead of this.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a fun movie. This,
Right.
it tries to be serious, and it just it's really missing, the scares and the thrill, and you don't really get, like, there's parts where you see like people get dragged away, but you don't really see like the wolf attacking, and you get one part where they're kind of getting chased, but it's I don't know.
And there's one particular like fight scene which I would prefer if they had that extended and that.
Yeah,
kind of
they could have added way more action into it.
I mean, that would have been fantastic in my opinion. That would have made the movie even better.
And I can tell that we're probably being a little bit too harsh on this, because other people, they're giving this 4 stars, 3.5. But man, I was just massively disappointed with it.
Disappointed.
Yes, disappointed.
In my opinion, I think they're really they're letting it slide because it's Blumhouse.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
And I mean, the movie looked so great from the trailer, and to go in and just be let down the way it was. And what was this movie, like 90 minutes or something like
It's
that?
somewhere in there, yeah.
It felt like it was 2 fucking hours, dude.
It felt like it dragged on.
Yeah, it was boring in parts. I'm not gonna lie. And like the whole time I'm watching the movie, you ever watch a movie and you're like, man, I'm so invested in this from the trailer. It's got to pick up and be good at some point, and it just wasn't.
103 minutes, so a little over an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's terrible, dude.
Yeah, and it's and for me, when I saw the trailer, like I thought it will be decent, but I couldn't believe I would dislike it as much as I did. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm just so thrown off. Like every Blumhouse movie I've watched in the past few years has just been terrible.
Yeah.
Like I just can't invest my time in it at the theater anymore anyways.
Well, just how like we say, there was, Marvel fanboys. I think there's Blumhouse supporters who just just give it just because it's Blumhouse. Like, well, you shouldn't just do that because,
I mean, back in the day, Blumhouse had some good stuff.
Yeah.
But anymore, they're just on this slope, just ice skating down as fast as they can.
And when people are like, oh, it's Blumhouse, I'm like, and?
I actually prefer the last Wolfman better than this, and the one with Benicio del Toro.
Well, that was way better.
Is that isn't
Benicio del Toro?
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, that was way better than
dude.
This.
That ending fight scene is it's amazing.
And their worst mistake was CGI in the werewolves.
Yeah.
But and I like I said, I give them all the credit in the world for doing something different with this, and just kind of putting patches of hair on them and mouthpieces for the teeth and stuff like that.
There's a couple of times during a transformation, I'm like, I've seen that guy downtown.
yeah. It does look like some beat up homeless person.
Yeah.
And there's some good parts in this movie. There are redeeming parts of this movie. Like, I wouldn't say there's nothing redeemable about this movie, but it's not a movie you go to the theater and watch. This is a rental movie back in the day, bro.
Yeah.
This is something you wait until it's like $5 and.
So this is straight to DVD.
Yeah,
it's just a little bit higher quality, but
yeah. And, I mean, this is from a guy that's well achieved in other movies, and he just missed. He missed big time on this.
And I think that's the problem, because we've seen other films from this individual, and then you see this and you're like, that's a big letdown.
It makes you wonder if there's a director's cut of this. Like, did he shave a half hour of this movie down that made it boring and just unbearable at times?
Yeah.
But man, it's dumb, man. Like, there's a part where they run out of the house to try to escape in this truck, and some events happen and they got to run away. What do? They run on top of a greenhouse. It's like like
plastic. Yeah, it's not like
greenhouses that have the metal frames and the plastic.
Yeah.
They climb on a ladder on top of this, like they're gonna, not fall through it or something.
Like it can't rip through it.
And the wolf gets inside and he's like jumping up. And I'm like, this werewolf can jump through that.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
You don't even see him like jumping and doing it. Like, you just see like slits and stuff.
Yeah, he slashes through the tarp and.
Well, it's just there's a part too, and this is right before then, like, you know, the mother's telling the daughter to be quiet, but yet again, this is the creakiest fucking door on a truck that's like 85 years old, like telling her to be quiet, like this motherfucker ain't gonna hear it.
They're literally trying to get into a truck that hasn't been driven in months.
Yeah.
Months. And it's from like the 70s, dude. They open it and it's like
it's like the loudest thing on top of a werewolf whose hearing is heightened.
And they've already shown you how good they can hear by the time they get into this truck. And I'm not even getting into the part about, you know, the husband's kind of transformed, but he's not. He's probably like 60%, but he's like following him around like a puppy dog, you know. And they're just like, I don't know. Like, I got that they were trying to do it's my job to protect you and stuff like that. And he wasn't fully there, so he was still there. But then there's parts where he's not there. And it's like, just give us what we want. Have him tear this lady apart.
Yeah.
Or, you know, have her wound him and they get away somehow and have to fight the other one.
Well, we were discussing this too, that if the mother was killed and it just left with the daughter, then it would have been a lot more enjoyable.
I almost would have rather had a movie with the father-son trying to, you know, escape the werewolf. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, I don't know, man. It just wasn't a good story. Like, you weren't invested in the family.
You really could care less.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good. It's not good. And you know, I'm pretty forgiving as long as I'm entertained. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have I love the Flash movie and everybody shits on that movie. You know, I'm like, oh, I don't care about the bad CGI. I had fun watching it.
Trust me, we've seen worse CGI than that.
But man, this was just like, the more I think about it, the more I'm insulted by it. Like, as a fan of the werewolf genre, like, this is the best you could give me with such a great IP. You know, like, how long have we been waiting for a good Wolfman to come out?
Yeah. But it's Blumhouse, though.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
Bumhouse or Blumhouse?
Blumhouse.
I could have sworn you said Bumhouse.
Blumhouse.
That's what we should start calling them, Bumhouse, because they fucking suck.
Yeah.
But
James Wan needs to take a break. Instead of producing all this shit.
What's his name? Lee Wanell? Mm-hmm. Hey, dude, massive miss. Like, I was telling Rob on the way home, I was like, if I'm Julia Garner, I'm suing them for making me be in this movie. And I couldn't get over, like, we're watching the movie, and the whole time I'm like, her hair is just so bad. Like, who thought it was a great idea to have her play in this movie with that haircut?
It's like 90s, like Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It looked like
that's what you said, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like she was from an NSYNC, you know, a backup dancer in an NSYNC video.
The funniest thing is Sleazy's driving, and he's talking about the movie. He's getting more pissed off. Like, he's gonna have road rage.
Yeah, dude.
He's like, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm getting pissed off. I thought he was gonna punch me like I made the movie. It's your fucking fault.
Man, I just love werewolf movies, and you don't get a whole lot of good ones anymore.
We were spoiled with Dog Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers is like,
it's still the best.
It's like the epitome of werewolf movies, man.
Well, even like Underworld, the werewolves in that were fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm looking for a picture of this because I got to put it up on here. I mean, it's just such a bad.
And like we've talked about, we appreciate how they're trying to do the Wolfman, but I mean, he kind of looks like a guy from Wrong Turn. He looks like they kind of look like one of those inbreds.
Like, I like that they really tried something different. I applaud them for that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what you see, and you're like,
shit,
really,
man. Like, don't insult me with this terrible shit, man. I'm like,
he's about to break the laptop. Fuck you, James Wan.
Do people really behave like this in situations? Like, aren't we past that as a society now, where we can't insult the audience with all the stupid shit that people do in this movie? But I'm just,
don't touch him, honey. That should have been said in this movie a few times.
Yeah, like, get the fuck away from him.
Yeah, that's not your daddy anymore.
The first thing I would have done when, like, there's a part where she sees it and freaks out, you know, the wound that he has, and he's acting like a rabid animal. The first thing I would have done was close the bedroom door or send him to the basement or even outside. Like, dude, you're on your own now.
All you had to do is back away slowly and shut the door.
I mean, maybe I'm just a cruel person, but I think the average person would want to quarantine away from this person and not sing Kumbaya with their, and the father-daughter have this real special connection in the movie, and you can tell the daughter likes the father more than the mom. But I'd be like, sweetie, this is not your dad. It's time to survive. We got to do what we got to do.
Well, even like, I'd rather there been no mother at all and just,
Look at this. Doesn't this look like, a made-for-TV movie of Justin Timberlake?
Yeah.
It's the Cry Me a River.
I mean, is there a better picture here? Yeah, here we go.
I don't know shit about fuck. I was waiting for her to say that. Ruth's back.
Yeah, I was waiting for that hillbilly accent to come out the entire movie. And maybe Ozark has ruined her for me, but I watched her in that one Netflix thing, and she was great in that.
It
was based on a true story. Yeah,
that girl, whatever. I don't have time for you. It's like, bitch.
Look at this. Look at this hair, dude.
It's a choice, all right.
It's like the Lifetime. It's a Lifetime movie of Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears right here.
That's a choice, all right.
Yeah. I mean, maybe a little bit longer, but who thought that was a good idea to, like, you're a leading actress in this movie. Let's make you as ugly as possible. And she's not an ugly girl. She's a beautiful chick.
Yeah, she's really cute.
Yeah. And phenomenal talent. Yeah. But if I was her, I'd sue. I would sue the director.
You ruined me, James Wan. I just blame everything on James Wan.
I would. I'd recoup damages off of this.
And then wasting my time and my talent.
And then if she sucks a Silver Surfer, I'd sue them too.
Yeah.
Because she's too good of an actress to be. Yeah. And like, she really didn't have any great lines in this. Like, the dialogue was kind of,
she's just like kind of like emotionless and kind of like stoned. It's kind of like
there wasn't any emotion. You couldn't tell she was scared in certain parts.
Yeah. Like, I was more scared for her and she wasn't even scared at all.
Yeah, like there's a part where he gets in her face and I mean he's like drooling and making weird noises. You can tell he's gone, and she's just sitting there staring him down stone cold like that's not a person that's terrified right there. Like you couldn't connect to this movie at all.
Yeah.
You could not connect to anything.
The moral of the story is that if Sleazy ever thinks you're becoming something, Rob, he's putting you right down.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. I will.
I'd be like the Fly, just grab the shotgun and put it to my head.
We'll come over and check out like Sleazy. I think he was okay. I don't think anything bit him or anything. Like,
hey, listen, if The Last of Us or anything like that happens, hey, I'll be there. I'll be there for you.
Okay. I'm like, I love you. Just put me down.
Yeah, you're getting the fuck out of the house and you're going somewhere else.
Yep.
You ain't staying over here with me.
Bye bye.
And if you're drooling and making weird noises and you're not answering to me when I call, talk to you, you're getting put down.
I've already gave you consent just to put me down. So.
Yeah.
He gave me consent.
Dude, just a massive failure. Massive failure. This it's got a bomb too. Like there was maybe three pairs of people in this movie seeing it.
Maybe like
4
total, maybe 5 or 6. Like with us 3,
it was an open theater.
Like
you could hear everybody like chatting and stuff during the movie, and
somebody was scratching like behind us from what.
Oh my god, dude! There was this person behind us, and I thought it was the fucking werewolf behind me, like
scratching
They were scratching their head relentlessly. I'm like, Jesus. But terrible movie. I gave it 2 stars.
I was going to give it 2.5, and then you said it hit you, and our buddy Waddell said something. I was like, it's going down to 2. Like it changed. I can't,
in good faith, give it 2.5 because at the end of the day, I wasn't entertained. It was boring. I couldn't connect to any of the characters. I was insulted at the way some of these people were behaving in the movie.
That's the next on the shirt. I'm insulted.
Yeah. Like, I hate to break out the cinema bro here, but and it's funny, Real for Reals gave this Real Takes gave this 4 stars, and I'm like, what were you watching? What were you watching, man? Because this was shit.
Yeah. And I know shitty movies. I know when shit.
If Rob feel like his intelligence is being insulted, you got some problems.
Right. We insulted Robzilla.
Like, I really want you to watch it now. Like, this movie will be out on digital in a week and a half.
Yeah.
It'll be out on digital a week and a half. You'll be able to rent it for $10.
Well, just like The Crow, like that shit went on the streaming like a week or 2 after that.
I see Nosferatu is coming out on digital next week.
It's going to be, it's got an extended edition like Blu-ray coming too. So I'm curious to see
it is.
But my recommendation is do not fucking go to the theater and be bored out of your mind of this movie. Wait till it gets at home or premieres on whatever Paramount Plus or wherever it's going. I don't know who that.
Probably be on Shudder or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know whose production was in charge of this, but
Shudder, AMC Plus.
Man, heads would be rolling if I saw this movie after investing money in it. I'd be like, were you a fan of werewolf movies, or did you just like want to make this to make it? Like, what's going on here?
Like, please explain it to me, please.
Yeah, just I'm very disappointed. And it makes me sad because I really wanted it to be good. And, it's like Eric said last night, Blumhouse does a phenomenal job of making trailers.
Yeah.
And then you go see the movie and it's complete shit. But. All right, it's time for our last segment of the night. We're at an hour and a half right now, so we got to get this going. But we're going to talk Nosferatu. This is... the latest remake of this treasured IP,
Treasured IP,
as some would say.
Treasured.
I don't know. Are people like Nosferatu fanatics? I mean, there's always like those iconic scenes of the original.
The real Nosferatu heads. They know.
Yeah.
This came out on Christmas Day, didn't it?
Yep.
So it was a Christmas movie that last year, going into this year. Okay, and this stars Lily-Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, and Bill Skarsgård, and Aaron Taylor Johnson.
And Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. Give me a chance here.
William
It's in
Dafoe.
line.
He's got to be the first one on there. It's William Dafoe.
No, he's not. Lily-Rose Depp is.
I don't give a shit.
Sorry to bust your bubble
Whatever.
here. And, man, Lily-Rose Depp can't play a part without showing her titties, can't she?
I don't know. Can't she? I don't know if I've seen her in anything else.
She was in that HBO show.
And she's showing them titties.
Where she played a pop star, yeah.
Yeah.
Every episode was like her masturbating or getting fucked. And
with The Weeknd or whatever.
The Weeknd.
God awful acting.
Yeah, I think I stopped that one after the first episode.
I think I watched 2 and I couldn't get through it.
So here's the synopsis. This was directed by Robert Eggers. I'm not a fan. I think you guys are.
No.
Really? And listen, I'll say this. I'm not a fan of Robert Eggers. There's something about his movies all feel super long to me and drawn out. But I enjoyed this movie.
It's called an attention span. So.
No, dude. When shit's boring, shit's boring. But a gothic tale of an obsession between a haunted young woman and a terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold horror in its wake. But what did you think, man? I mean, are you as high on it as I am?
I ended up giving it a 4 stars, like you did. It's one I definitely feel the need to revisit already, and because I think it's got some issues with it, but there was kind of so much about it I liked. I liked the way it looked and the way he shot a lot of it. It's very sort of like expressionistic, and he, like you say, he doesn't rush it. I don't think there's any slow parts or anything like this, but he does take his time in certain parts. And other people have said that part of people's criticisms is that it's not like individual enough to him. Like you could tell he's a fan of Nosferatu and the silent movies that influenced it and that have come since then. And I get that, but I think he does well enough on his own and using those influences to sort of make the movie his own. And I think that's something that to me I really like about it, is that it's got this great look about it. And I was thinking while even watching it that it's kind of like Bram Stoker's Nosferatu, because you can tell he kind of elaborated on some of the things the way we think of as Bram Stoker's Dracula did. And I enjoy all the performances. Lily-Rose Depp is sort of like psychically linked to the vampire. So she's got to do all these like seizurely kind of movements that are also sort of sensual.
Her melancholy.
Yeah. And, when an actor or actress has to do that kind of stuff, I think you have to trust your director quite a bit because it can look silly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's, if somebody's just kind of like half watching the movie and not paying attention, they may have laughed at some of the stuff. But I think she did good at keeping it right in the line of sort of watching, kind of being terrified watching somebody go through this and it being exaggerated, but not so much that, you kind of giggle at it.
Yeah.
Not, laughable at it, basically.
And as like I said, I'm not as familiar with Lily-Rose Depp as an actress, so I was kind of like, oh, okay, she kind of knows what she's doing here. I loved
this. This is a big role for somebody who really hasn't played in a whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's fairly new,
and she was great in it. I got to give props. I mean, everybody was really, really good in this movie. And like you said, like I like the way he shot most of it. I do have some complaints. Like I wish I could have been able to watch this movie with subtitles on. There are times where you can't understand fuck all what the Count's saying.
Yeah.
You're like
Count Orlok.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck did he just say? And you kind of have to just I don't know, go with the flow. And kind of guess. Nicholas Hoult does a good job of. He did a really good job of being terrified.
Yeah.
Through the whole movie.
I'm not like a huge Nicholas Hoult fan. I think he's okay, but I think this is maybe one of the better performances from him.
Oh, definitely, by far. Until we see him as Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I will say it was a little too dark at points too. Like my eyes were hurting trying to focus on what was going on, and I got it. I mean, they wanted it to be dark and terrifying, and put you in the shoes of the characters and what they were experiencing in certain scenes. But man, Bill Skarsgård,
he really, I mean,
he crushed it, dude. Give that guy an award.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Yeah, for like you fucking saw it.
Bill Skarsgård, man, he's fantastic.
The look and the accent and the way he came up with just that voice. I mean, the voice is all over TikTok now.
You can't tell that. I genuinely didn't look up anything about this movie when I went into it, so that's probably another reason why I enjoyed it as much as I did. But man, Robert Eggers, all of his movies, he does a really good job of like visually, like the visuals are just there.
Yeah.
They're great. They're immersive. They put you into the scenery. Like you almost feel like you're in the movie. Mm-hmm. And man, from the gypsies to just the journey of this movie was just awesome. And man, I really felt like they didn't need to put the vampire dick scene in this.
I didn't think it was
like he could have just popped out and not being fully nude and rotting.
But so many people were mentioning that. I was expecting more out of it.
Yeah. A lot of people were going over the top about it, and it really wasn't that big of a deal.
That was in their Letterboxd reviews and everything, and you're kind of like, oh, okay.
That's what I heard
so
too. Like,
dark, you just see an outline of it.
That's why I heard like it was outrageous, and then what you guys are saying, it wasn't even really that.
I was disappointed in a way. I was expecting more vampire.
I was expecting a giant vampire hammer there. The way people talked about it.
Right. I was expecting it to be swinging around like every other scene or something.
He's got his own personal stake.
Right, and it's just one little scene that's kind of in shadow. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the movie is so dark you can barely make shit out at times. And it's not that I have a problem with it, but it is like. Maybe I'm just sensitive to it with my eyes, but it was hard.
I didn't find it to be super dark.
Yeah, it was hard for me to focus on it at times. But I enjoyed it, though. It was a nice little Saturday afternoon, and, everybody was great in it. Willem Dafoe.
He, like I said, I mentioned it on our
Quote of the Year
previous episode where he says, I've seen things that would make Sir Isaac Newton crawl back up into his mother's womb. Like, damn.
And I love it because in the movie, he's a doctor. And the town is being infested by, the Count is literally having his way with the town at night, and people are just sick, and the hospital's overrun. And this doctor's like, "This ain't normal. We got to go see my teacher." But there's one thing wrong with the dude. He's a little crazy. He's into this vampire shit, and that's when you're introduced to Willem Dafoe's character, and they're pretty much calling him a whack job and stuff. And he's like, that's when that quote comes up, and he's, they're like, you need to medicate this woman. And he's like, no, stop it right now. We're not doing it no more.
She needs to be a pure conductor or whatever.
Yeah. He was like, this woman is possessed by demons.
Do they kind of like make him like the Van Helsing, but don't really say he's Van Helsing?
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. It's a fun movie though. And like I said, if you don't have the best attention span, Robert Eggers is not for you.
Yeah.
And you just gotta you got to be patient with this movie too, because it all comes full circle at the end. And I thought the ending was beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's very much kind of like a movie to get lost in.
Yeah,
and just
that's the perfect way to describe it.
Go with the vibe.
Yeah,
a lot. And it's got a good story and good characters and all that. But you really want to be there for the vibe and just kind of get immersed in the visuals.
Like I said earlier, it's a journey. It really is a journey, and I give him all the credit, man. This guy really put together a dynamite cast. I mean, it was a great story that he told. Obviously there's times where, we see this stuff and we're like, how do these people just not put this lady in a hospital and not deal with her shit anymore? But it was good, man. It's a solid 4 stars. And I really think there's a 5-star movie in here somewhere, and that could be the pacing issue with Robert Eggers. At times he does stretch some things out and it feels like it's longer than what it is. But I mean, this is probably my favorite of his, and I've not been a fan.
So we touched on that. I asked you if it was
like, I thought The Northman was okay, and The Witch I thought was terrible. I thought it was so boring, and I just did not connect with that movie.
I've seen a lot of people on TikTok when they kind of rate their Robert Eggers movies, they put like Nosferatu as like 1 or 2 at this point.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite out of his, with Northman right behind it, and obviously the Witch.
The Witch.
Yeah.
You really need to see The Lighthouse.
Oh yeah, I've seen The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is fucking weird, man. So
Robert Pattinson
I'd put that right below The Northman. But
it's out there.
Yeah, like, was it he bangs like a mermaid in it or something like that?
Or he thinks he does.
Yeah, or whatever. It's not really clear as to what's going on.
Yeah, that's one I definitely need to revisit.
Now, I'll say this, like, I felt like that movie was, the same thing. It's long and kind of drawn out, but the performances were good.
Yeah.
And all of his movies, the performances are good. It's just something about the pacing that makes me not like him as much as other people do. And I think, one of the main reasons why I didn't like the Witch is because everybody was like, this is such a phenomenal movie. And, it was kind of like The Wolf Man. Like, I'm waiting for this movie to just fucking...
rock your socks off.
Yeah, melt my face, and it just never happened. And I was like, really? This is it? That's the end? I just wasted 2.5 hours or whatever on this. But yeah, Nosferatu, I did not have that feeling. I was like, that was good.
If anything, I wanted more.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I was almost upset. There's the scene where Nosferatu, where Count Orlok has to be on the ship to move his coffins and all that. I wanted more because they made the whole movie The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So I was kind of hoping for a little more out of that scene, and I've seen other people say that they were hoping for a little more out of like the third act where he kind of takes over the town.
Yeah.
And the plague's involved and rats are supposed to be involved, and they kind of felt like they cut that short because they're obviously focusing on the Lily-Rose Depp character.
Yeah.
A little more, and so I'll be curious when they release the longer cut on Blu-ray or 4K, whatever, to see what they add to that. And like I said, the stuff's good. Like they do somebody said that like, they do all the stuff of like his hand appearing in the shadows and all that. Like I thought somebody said that was like practical effects.
Oh, really? That was really cool how they did it. I thought that was cool that they kept that in there.
Yeah. And that's like one of the very first scenes of the movie is her character talking to the Count Orlok shadow as like the drape blowing or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Like, what happens? Does he like rape her in the garden? Like shadow rape her?
Well, you see, that's the thing. Like, how willing is she? Because especially like in the beginning, she's actually kind of calling out to him, saying she's lonely.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how much of it is sort of a story of what you might say abuse, and how much of it is a story of like a lonely person. And then they meet like Nicholas Holt's character, and she says, I don't need that anymore because I got you. But at the same time, she's still really drawn to that dark character, and he's drawn to her to the point where she has to sort of take control of the situation in the only way she can.
So is Count Orlok like the original fuckboy?
I was exactly going to say that. Is he just one of those fuckboys that she just can't get over? That's exactly what
he's like. He's an ugly dude with a hammer.
Yeah. Can't compete with it sometimes. It is what it is.
It's that like Fu Manchu he's got.
He's like, when you see like a hot goth girl and she's got like a Joe Schmo boyfriend, like that's him right there with his mustache and his comb over.
Do you think he had a subscription to hymns?
He did.
I must pop this beer.
I guess he worked with opera singers to do that voice. Yeah.
And take you to Palm Town.
There's another
voice
one.
Is so great.
Well, there's another one going on TikTok. It's like you must bounce on it or something like that, or is that what it's like crazy style? It's something weird.
I did love when he was like talking to his handler, I guess you could say.
Knock. Yeah.
And he goes to like disagree with the count on something. And he's like, silence, dog.
You call me Lord.
Yeah. Good movie though. Great performances. And, I don't think you'll be able to see it in theaters by the time you hear this. But like we said, it comes out on digital on Tuesday, but it's definitely worth owning. And
I'm curious. I hope more people check it out. I wish, I think it's right there at a mix of like a sort of good commercial film and kind of an artsy film.
Yeah.
That I think people will enjoy.
And it's funny. You just mentioned artsy. I was going to say, man, Robert Eggers' artistry is on full display in this movie, like full display, but really solid flick. And I wouldn't be surprised if this cleans up on some awards this year. Yeah. So, I mean, it's that good of a quality.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like I say, it's got a great look. It's got like great costumes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's a kind of vibes movie. Like if you're looking for something sort of in that gothic tradition, I think you're really going to get into it.
It's definitely that perfect like weekend movie where you wait till it's dark outside, you turn the lights off, turn the TV up, and you just have a great time watching this movie. So I can't wait for other people to see this, and hopefully you enjoyed it as much as PBS and I did.
So basically, watch Nosferatu and fuck the Wolfman. Basically, is what it is.
Yeah, fuck the Wolfman. Like you can wait till that shit's on Netflix and
for free.
Yeah, then you can shit on it with us.
Yeah,
that's what I can't wait to see. Obviously we don't know if TikTok's going to be around come Sunday. It sounds like they're going to make a deal. The CEO posted something where he's like, "I'm glad Trump is working with us." It's like, okay.
I'm still very skeptical, but at the same time, because the Supreme Court came out today and upheld the ban, which I think
they were never going to entertain the idea of.
Some people were thinking that some of the conservative justices kind of grilled them a little bit.
The ones with libertarian views.
And if you listen to enough I don't listen to a whole lot, but I listen here and there to Supreme Court arguments, and the justices' tone and passion doesn't always translate to them voting for or against something. You can usually kind of still guess pretty well. So I think people who were expecting any help from the Supreme Court were probably disappointed. I was expecting maybe they might kick the can down the road a little bit, which they didn't even do that. But at the same time, Joe Biden apparently will not enforce the ban for his last day as president or whatever.
Yeah.
So it'll be up to Trump.
And they're saying Trump is drafting an executive order to delay it for 90 days to facilitate a transfer of.
But even TikTok says they're going to go dark on the 19th. So I don't know. We'll see.
I could see them going dark just to get people riled up. But I'm really hoping to see people like make fun of Wolfman on TikToks and stuff like that. But that's all for episode 200. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
201?
Or 201, sorry. Thank you for correcting me there.
No, it's okay. It's very fun.
Yeah. You can tell it's been a long day, and we're ready to end this shit.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait for the sequel to Nosferatu. Nosferatu 2.
Yeah.
Roll those R's.
Instead of the T, it's got the 2.
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to make a parody of that.
Yeah. As always, call to action, share the show with one person, and from there we'll get another person to listen. And as always, make sure you're subscribing on everything.
Comment.
Yeah, comment. Tell us, if you thought we're idiotic, on our takes of certain things. If you thought Wolfman rocked and we're fucking idiots, you can say that. I don't care.
Check out Rob's Tubi movie. Let us know.
Yeah, and yes, please report back on Rob's Tubi movie if you enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it. But make sure you're commenting that when we share the episode. Comment down on that, where the episode thread is and say, man, I like this part of the show or whatnot. And make sure you're liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel. That helps us with the algorithm, which is very, very tough to break on YouTube. So, sometimes we get, a lot of views and sometimes we don't. So it is what it is there, but we ultimately need your help to help that grow. And we appreciate any help that anybody's willing to give us with that. But that's all we have for you on this episode of the Sleazy Podcast, and keep it sleazy.
Thanks for listening to the Sleazy Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and remember, listen to Sleazy.